The Matadors love its newest Texas Tech store, offering the official Wreck-'em Tech shirt of the Saddle Tramps. Together, the Matador and the Saddle Tramps are ready to gear you up for Texas Tech football. Buy your Wreck-'em Tech shirt at the Matador for only $15 and feel proud that you are supporting the Saddle Tramps and Texas Tech. Start a new tradition. Stop at the corner and shop the Matador or shop online at shopthematador.com.
Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of Matador Express. I'm your host, Everett.
And I'm Emma Adams.
Both Tech basketball teams ended their seasons this past week with both the men's and women's teams losing in the first round of the Big 12 tournament.
The women took on West Virginia last week in the Big 12 tournament. Though they've defeated them twice, they lost to them with a 59-40 score. Though they've had a really tough season, do you think they're in the right direction?
Yeah, they obviously improved. They didn't win any Big 12 games last year. Ended the season on a 20-game losing streak, which was rough, I know, for the fans and for those players that were on that team. But, they got some Big 12 wins this year. They had 5 or 6 games, Candy talked about after the West Virginia loss. They had 5 or 6 games that came down to one possession that they could have ended up winning. I think it really showed how they were able to battle back in a lot of games, and I think Candy definitely has them headed in the right direction.
The men's team also was knocked out of the Big 12 tournament in the first round. They took on Texas, and they also lost, but there were some moral victories.
Yeah, the final games of the season, Tech only lost by 3 in that last regular season game to Baylor on the road at Waco, which they've really struggled on the road so far this season, so I think it was good to see them at least kind of compete in that game. And then they only lost to Texas by 12 points in the first round of the Big 12 tournament, so they've had some moral victories there. What do you think they need to improve on most before next season?
Well, they need the experience, really. The freshmen, they started a lot of freshmen throughout the entire year, so they need that experience and to get that strength in off-season. They also need to look at foul trouble. They got a lot of foul trouble in some very important games that needs to be improved.
Yeah, the baseball team also lost this past weekend. They got swept by Cal State Fullerton. It was the first time all season they'd lost even back-to-back games. They'd been 10-1 prior to that, but it was their first road games, and then they returned home this week for a 2-game midweek series against New Mexico State, which they got wins in both of those games. On Tuesday, they had a 12-inning walk-off win, which was actually the third straight home win that was in walk-off fashion. They've had a 12-inning game, a 9-inning one that they came back in the 9th inning, and then one that lasted 16 innings. Emma, I know you've been at all 3 of those games. I've only made it to one of them, but how exciting were those, and what were you seeing from the team being able to battle back and stay in those games?
Yeah, it's really exciting. It's once they get the momentum, they're unstoppable, and the bullpen is really strong this year. I think a thing they really need to work on is their consistency going up to bat. There are some times where there are a lot of people left on base, and there's points that could be retrieved, but they need to work on that.
Yeah, the baseball team's going to head back to California this weekend for another road series. They're going to take on San Diego State Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That wraps up this week's episode of Matador Express. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.